Good morning, everybody. Glad to see a full house. Excuse me. Good morning. We are about to open the meeting. When this meeting is about to be open, I would like to see no one walking in and out. If the staff does not have the appropriate paper that we just going to discuss in the meeting, then let it be. But we'll take care of that later. But right now, we get ready to start. We have a quorum. And if it's an emergency and you have to leave, then please do. But no back and forth while the meeting is going on. And so at this time, we bow our heads for prayers.
Our Father God, we thank you for this time and this season, Lord. Thank you for this great organization, the Brunswick Housing Department. Thank you for the staff, the residents, and the leadership. I pray, God, that you bless this meeting today and that we will accomplish what we need to do for our community and for our residents. I pray for love, healing, and unity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you please turn your phones down to it on vibrate at this time. Oh, yeah. And at this time, we're going to swear in our new commissioner, Commissioner Booker.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me, please. I, Alan Booker,
I, Alan Booker,
having accepted an appointment
having accepted an appointment
to serve as Commissioner
to serve as Commissioner
of the Housing Authority, City of Brunswick,
Housing Authority, City of Brunswick,
do hereby swear or affirm
do hereby swear or affirm
that I shall abide by the laws,
I shall abide by the laws,
rules, and regulations
rules, and regulations
which govern the operation
which govern the operation
of housing authorities in the state of Georgia,
housing which governs the
housing authorities
housing
in the state of
authorities
Georgia,
in the state of Georgia,
and that I shall endeavor
and I shall endeavor
during my tenure
during my tenure
to serve the low-income citizens
to serve the low-income citizens
of my community
of my community
by providing safe,
by providing safe,
sanitary, and affordable housing.
sanitary, and affordable housing.
What we got?
So help me God.
All right, thank you. Welcome.
All right.
At this time,
Thank you.
no, 5 years. 5 years.
Mr. Council.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for today, for March the 8th, 2023.
I'd like a motion that we approve the agenda.
Do I hear a second? Okay. Any opposes? If none, the motion passes. All right. Any questions, concerns, or amendments to the agenda? Discussions? I have an amendment this morning. Right now, if any of the delegates who are speaking, who wants to speak this morning, you get 5 minutes. If you're asking for funding at this time, the board would like to go over and update the RFP, so we won't do any delegate speaking. But if you're here just for non-funding or to give us some information, then I'll give you 5 minutes to do so. Please turn off your phone and turn down the volume. So, like to revise and go over the RFP before we do any more delegates for any programs or funding here. If anybody is here just to give us some information or is not looking for funding, then you have 5 minutes to speak. Is there anybody here that is not looking for funding right now? We'll do public speaking later. And if there's anybody? No, all right. I see Mr. Clark is not here, so we can go. All right. Then if there's nobody who's here to speak about asking for funding or anything, we'll go on with our agenda. Old business, approval of the revised minutes of the special call meeting held on January the 24th. I will entertain a motion to approve the special call meeting.
Motion that we approve the special call meeting. I will second that.
Any opposes? If there's no opposes, are there any questions or further discussion? If not, that motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on February the 8th. I will entertain a motion.
The motion that we approve the regular meeting for February 8th. I will second that motion.
Any opposes?
Madam Vice Chair, I would just offer a suggestion that you do take a vote even if it's in the affirmative. If you know that you have a majority, you need to ask us to say aye. Or put it down right here.
Okay, all right. Let's go back and do that. Okay. I entertain a motion for the approval of the revised minutes of the special call meeting held on January 24th.
I'd like the motion that we approve the minutes for January 24th.
Second.
I will second that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? That motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on February the 8th. I will entertain a motion.
Motion that we approve the minutes for February 8th.
Second.
I will second.
Any opposes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? That motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the executive session meeting held on February the 8th, 2023. I will entertain a motion.
Motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the special call meeting held on February the 21st. I will entertain a motion.
Motion that we approve the minutes for February 21st.
Second.
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The last one. Approval of the minutes of the executive session meeting held on February the 21st. I will entertain a motion.
Motion that we approve the minutes for February 21st.
Second.
I will second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up, approval of the February 2023 financial reports. I will entertain the motion.
I think we need to hear it.
Oh, yeah, this is
Financial
February, this is March. Okay, Ms. Dyer.
Right. I just put together some information that we provide to the board on a monthly basis. This is just unsolicited from the board on what you might be looking for as like to go along with the financials, but I just put it together late yesterday afternoon, so I didn't have it ready, but if this pass it down to the board members, I think I get going now. It's just kind of a snapshot of some of the main items that I get asked about on occasion. So I just wanted this to be available to you guys, and if you have any questions, just let me know, or I can just go through and tell you what. this is the first time I've done this, so if you guys like, this, or you want to add something to it or whatever, just let me know. But yeah, it'll be given out before the meetings on a regular basis.
Anything added new that we need to know about?
No, just so you guys know, because you might not hear about some of this stuff as often. You see there's a bank account for FSS. Right below that, there is also a new bank account called FSS Forfeitures, and that's for people who don't complete the program. In the past, prior to
What is
this,
the
family self-sufficiency, and it's within our Section 8 program. And for people who don't graduate, don't complete the program, what we used to do is transfer that money back out of the FSS account into the Section 8 bank account. HUD changed the rules with this fiscal year, so now when you have someone who doesn't graduate from the program, that money goes into an FSS forfeitures bank account, which means you have that money, you are required to spend it on the FSS program in some way. So that's a new bank account. Another one that you don't see on a regular basis because literally we don't do anything with it, and it's the last one on the list, CFFP debt service. This is our capital fund financing program loan that we have that runs through 2025. And this is the debt service account that we have to maintain while we owe this money. And it basically sits in our old bank, United Community Bank, and that money is sitting there. It's just under $300,000. And once that loan is paid off, that money will revert back to us. But right now we can't touch it. So it just sits there and earns a little bit of interest.
Where is the operation funds?
General fund.
General funds.
That's Public Housing Operating Subsidy Bank account. That is our main bank account that we write checks out of, the main one.
And that operating fund, that covers the trash, the cutting of the grass, and
Yes.
keeping the communities clean.
Yes.
And that's how much we have in there.
Right. And if you see that next column over that says due to, due from, what that is, I try to put this on here just to make it where, when like last month when we were going over the HUD report and how it's trying to explain how we, pay it out of here, but it's really for this. This is just putting it on a piece of paper and showing you. Payroll is processed through general fund. People's payroll is charged to various departments within the housing authority. But in our software, we have a due to, due from account where it accumulates everything. Like the Section 8 director, she's paid from payroll, is paid out of general fund. At the end of the month, I've got a piece of paper that shows me, okay, we pay Section 8 employees from general fund. I need to give money from Section 8 back to general fund to accomplish that, so that we're paying people out of the correct buckets, so to speak. That's what this due to, due from column is for.
If we could get this type of financial every month, this would be nice.
Okay.
So we have it, so the authority has to get it.
We have, but it's been a stringent, complex type of form.
What's in your packet is
Yeah.
what we normally.
Yes.
This is all the highlights.
All right. I would entertain, anybody have any questions? I entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
Motion that we approve the financial report for February.
Here's
I will second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Jeff Clark, our Street Outreach Program Director, and Allison Black, our Safe Harbor Family Preservation Program Director as well. We have kind of, and I'm sorry, but look at the background and just to kind of very short. Safe Harbor is a 31-year-old private nonprofit in Brunswick, Georgia. We were founded by Jekyll Island residents who were looking for services for runaway homeless youth. And they actually founded our emergency shelter that's on Gloucester Street 31 years ago. And we have continuously housed children in that center for 21 years. We've grown and expanded our homeless services for youth into street outreach, which Jeff runs. Our Safe Harbor Family Preservation Program works with families that are in crisis. We now have 3 residential programs. The house, the emergency shelter in Gloucester, the large house that houses children in the corner of Norwich and Gloucester. That's for children that are in the custody of Division of Family and Children's Services. And then we have Strive Transitional Living, which is actually a program for youth that are homeless, that are ages 16 to 22. They can come in to a group home setting and then transition into apartments in their own name. Here today with me, and I'm going to let them just talk really briefly, 2 seconds about their program, is Jeff Clark with Street Outreach, and then why we're here is a kind of unique opportunity for the Brunswick Housing Authority. We are actually going around to other housing authorities as well, and I'll explain what that opportunity is with Brunswick Housing Authority in just a second. And let Jeff explain Street Outreach.
So good morning. So good to see you guys. So my program is Street Outreach. So what we do in Street Outreach is basically go out and canvas for homeless youth and families. So generally, most homeless services that are presented within the community generally come through our Street Outreach programs and services. So as we work with homeless youth, we actually go out and provide services like housing opportunities, emergency assistance. We offer tutorial services, education linkage, as well as continual case management throughout the time they're in our program. So with that service, we do connect individuals to housing. So we do housing, whether it be emergency shelter, recovery housing, supportive housing, and transitional housing. And so in general, we work this whole coastal region area, which is about 7 counties, including Bryan County, Liberty County, Camden County, Lynn County, Wayne County, McIntosh County, Appleton County, Jeff Davis County. So it's a big service for the provision for this area. And so Leslie's going to get back into what she's talking about, what the grant opportunity is here.
So I work with Safe Harbor Family Preservation Program, and we work with families that have open defect spaces. These families, their children have not been removed in the foster care, but have been identified to have their children may have experienced some kind of abuse, but it's not abuse that would cause them to go in foster
I figured it out. I figured it
You
out.
gotta do work to come over.
Yeah, okay. All right. Verse 17. So, listen. Forward out all the documents presented. I forwarded everybody the documents from that solicitation, and from what I can gather from it, when that fire happened, they decided to hire an architect to take care of the solicitation for that and the independent cost estimates and estimations for that, because it was expected to exceed what insurance was willing to pay for, because it was under insurance. And I gave you every email that I could find about it, and I only got those emails from Mr. Ken. He was the architect on that project. It started before me. The project started about sometime in 2021, as far as back as I can see what he sent. But I did forward you the documents. Solicitation has gone through, and informed me that you had his young Mr. Kennedy has actually called in today because of this. I had him call in because he can answer questions on this better than I can. Because it came
Just some
through.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. King, can you hear us? Mr. Hart has the background.
I mean, I can tell you what I know from memory, having been here. There was a fire.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Never mind.
All right,
Sorry.
all right.
I had to touch that other thing with this little bit. So we're good to go. James Kent, good morning. I didn't mean to interrupt anyone.
No, go ahead.
So, I don't know the exact, y'all was, wanting to ask a question concerning the history or exactly?
Yeah,
Just an overview
yeah.
of the project.
Okay, this project originally is on, had a fire, a severe fire in the building that houses 6 Whitaker. You're aware of that. And originally I was contacted by, House Authority representative, I think from 21. And, we eventually got a contract signed, and they, at that time, along that time, they heard back from the insurance company. And we, looking at that number, basically understood at that time, we didn't have enough money in the insurance funds to renovate the building. Okay? So, thus, John Lego at that time asked me after getting the contract signed, to put together a cost estimate before we did any design. And I did. You understand, I've been working with the housing authority. Last time these buildings were renovated, I was working with WSW, and I was the architect and record. I'm very familiar with what's going on. So that was like in the 80s. So we gave a cost estimate to the housing authority of around $9,000, and thus we understood Ron and I had already visited the site 2 times, and I had drawings of that existing facility, that building, so I could put areas together. Basically, the file was so big, so severe, and when it passed through the attic, that everything, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing had to be rebuilt, or we knew that all got damaged. I'm not, whatever, it looks like I'm doing, you see y'all already.
Right.
But, so to answer the question, like I said, sir, we can't do that. I have confirmed that after the design got completed, that amount. So we're good to go with it.
Who did the design? Did you also do the design?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I did the design. I'm an architect on this job. Like I said, I've been doing this for years.
Right. So let me make sure I'm clear. Once you did the design of the cost estimate, what is our procedure in bidding the job out?
We've already did the job, sir. We have,
Mr. Ken, Mr. Ken, Mr. Ken, Mr. Ken,
it's within my budget.
Mr. Ken. Again, what is our procedure for bidding the job? I'm not asking you, I'm asking the staff.
Okay, yes, sir.
So if you will hold up,
Understanding.
if you will hold up a minute, Mr. Ken, then do you know what the procedure is, procurement procedure?
And Mr. Kent's contract was assigned to him, not by me. I think he just said that it was already in his contract to bid the job.
So he had a contract to design and do the tear down. Right.
That's what he said.
Right.
Yeah, my contract with the Brunswick Housing Authority involves a design phase, and a contract procurement phase, a bidding phase, and also involves a contract award phase and a construction administration phase. I'll take you from design, conception, all the way to closing out the job. It's in the contract.
Okay. So we did the phase of bidding the job out. We circumvented our normal procurement procedure.
Well, actually, I understood that the Brunswick Housing Authority was basic guidelines for procurement policy, thus anything over a certain amount of money, each authority has their own threshold.
Right.
And thus, we did bid the job out, did market the job, and had a pre-bid meeting, and took bids for it.
So you did.
Architecture, my agreement with y'all, I solicited for contractors to do the job. I sent it to Dodge Construction Journal, number about 5 of those sources. And besides mailing it out, emailing it out to all the contractors. And y'all.
Mr. Kent, the reason I'm asking this is we have a project that evidently we don't have enough money from the insurance company. So that is going to be directly correlated to the bid process. Now, in your submitting this bid out, it sounds like you submitted it out to other contractors. How many minority contractors did you submit a bid to? And how many local contractors were involved in that?
I can't really answer to the minority thing, because I don't follow that. As far as with my clients, with my contractors are concerned, I can't say who our president, who our elected minority government.
Are you local
We
here?
solicited to, we had 2 local contractors who followed Dawn's work, get documentation from me. They didn't turn in a bid, I don't know why, but they didn't turn in a bid, but they came to the pre-bid meetings, Mr. Edward and I met with them, actually had a special meeting with them. You had more people in that bid than y'all. There's only 2 people made the bid.
Right, so, and,
I didn't answer the thing about minority, I'm sorry.
are you local, Mr. King?
Yes, sir, I was born and raised Brunswick. I've been living here 68 years. Since I was 16.
Okay.
I started working with the Brunswick Housing Authority when I worked for when I worked for WSA Bidder Architects in 1980.
Okay, and you.
I did all over the Brunswick Housing Authority. We held a contract with the WSA Bidder from 1980 to 1996.
And you don't know
I
any.
lived there in 96. They opened up my own company, JFK Architecture. A few years later, I became the Brunswick Housing Authority. The RFQ became their own. I worked at Housing Authority from like 1999 till 2009.
Hold on for a second,
Okay.
Mr. Kemp, hold on for a second. Commissioners, has anybody looked at that document that was sent out for this draft? I didn't get a chance to look at it. So, right now, we have some issues to deal with this, so we need to defer this and come back to this topic, sometime soon, after we sort out where we wanna go and how we wanna prepare it. And so, and then we need to see some documentation of what's been communicated between this property. How many units are there? 6, you said?
Every single email that I was able to pull, that I was able to get IT to pull, pertaining to that matter, I sent it.
Okay. So the board will get together and discuss this. I remember that fire. And since that time, since that time, the board was told there was not any fire extinguishers in the unit. Since then, has any fire extinguishers been placed in the unit? Yes.
That the fire extinguishers in the units, as far as HUD is concerned, is not an issue until it gets switched over to Inspire, and then that will become a quote status that has to be met.
So, the apartment units, they don't have fire extinguishers in them?
Smoke detectors.
That was an issue that I brought up.
Say that again. None of the units have fire extinguishers.
No, they all have smoke alarms, but not extinguishers, and that's been forever.
Okay, well,
We need to do that soon. We need to work on that soon.
tomorrow.
Because if there's another fire, I was told somewhere between July and August of 2022, that there was a kitchen fire that wasn't brought to the board. I don't know what community it happened in, but I was told about it at a Rotary meeting. And so you need to work on getting fire extinguishers.
What, well, let's finish this.
Yes.
Are we deferring this?
Yes.
Chairman, Madam Chairman, just wanted to inform y'all that if you defer this, we may have to send it out.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll miss out.
That is correct. You have 45 days from the initial receptive bid, offer a contract to the contractor. Within 60 days, you have to sign a contract. If not, this bid is no longer bid. You have to rebid it all over.
What day are we at?
We're approaching the 45 days. We need to get a contract proposed to this contractor, I'd say, within 10 days. We were sort of hoping that this meeting would get approval, and we would we've already set up a 10-year contract signing for tomorrow week.
I mean,
So,
I know I can't support this right now because, I mean, we just
this house involves so many facets that you can't break it up into pieces and just do the kitchen, just do the bathroom, just do the light. You can't break it up. And yes, sir, you will get better prices that way because you do away with the general contractor and work directly with subs. But with this particular job, there's so many facets involved, so many trades involved. You need a general contractor.
Well,
That's why the authority
no, Mr. Kent, even with the general contractor,
presently this entire office.
even if you're getting a general contractor, a local general contractor, I think would get us a better price. But I certainly would feel better about me voting for something when we got local folks here that can do the job. And we need to make sure, especially, that there are minorities participating in that process. I won't support anything that doesn't have that as a part of the process. So I'm just FYI to staff. And this, I think we need to defer whatever the issues are. I mean, I know we got to get these units back, but it's going to take a little pain for us to get things on track.
Point of information. Since we brought up Commissioner Booker, the Brunswick News, I wanted to be noted, since the Brunswick News is here, that this individual was chosen and all this work was done from the past administration, not this present administration.
We understand it. He said to
Point of order, I'm talking. Point of order, I'm talking. Point of order, I am talking. Let me finish. The Brunswick News pointed out that this administration was mishandling funds. This particular situation was already organized in the past administration, so I want that to be on the notes for the record.
Now, let me say this. When Mr. Williams first spoke, he said this happened a year and a half ago. So he already established the time frame that it happened. My issue with this is we always get these contracts and these bids when it's close to the date of closing, and we never get a chance to explain it above the board and have a conversation about it. So the Brunswick newspaper is another issue. We're not going to discuss that right now.
Well, it's brought up.
But
No,
I understand.
I mentioned it because I wanted to give a context for why I think we need to make sure we get the best price going forward for this job.
Yes, and when we talk, we do not have to raise our voice aggressively. Nobody else is, so we can use a solo tone to get your point across. But we're going to carry on, and we're going to defer.
On the order.
I'm speaking
On the order.
right
When I
now. I'm
was talking.
speaking right now, and we're going to defer this. We put a motion on the table
No,
for us to defer
on the
this.
order. When I was talking, you interrupted me. That's why I raised my voice.
this board meeting for approval to be looked at or whatever, if I didn't get it to you in that time frame, you wouldn't have time to look at it. So it's February 27th. And that's why I
We
said
received
it.
bids on, excuse me, Mr. Edwards, we received bids on February the 2nd.
Okay.
February
Board
the 2nd.
meeting, day before the board meeting. Was that
As of
before the last board meeting?
Say that again.
When was the last board meeting? February the 8th. And Mr. You received bids on the 2nd. Mr. Kent got me the documents back on, you'll see his email when he gave me his recommendation. I think it was February 7th. He got that to me. But you have 45 days. So if I didn't get it in this one, you exceed the 45 days by the time the next board meeting comes up.
And I understand that. What I'm trying to say is, when you noticed that this was coming up, even if you didn't have the bids, you would let us be aware that this would be coming up and we would have to make that bid and do it in time frame.
As far as I knew, y'all was already aware of it. But like I said, I don't know. They've been notified in October.
Is there something stopping us then from having a special call meeting?
Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Your commissioners don't want to have any more special calls. They had enough of them last month. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm fine with deferring this and going through the regular process myself, but I'm just getting here. I understand that staff has been working on this. We do need to get these units back online. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So
Yes, sir.
everybody that's on board with it, I mean, I just don't feel like we got the best price, because right now, y'all are asking us to prove something for more money, and we don't know if we got the best price. It's because it seems like we've been pushed to a rush at the end, whatever, because I'm not that familiar, I'm not really familiar with the 45 days, 60 days, the staff has to bring me up to date on the process. But, we definitely did not reach out to local minority businesses, and I'm not going to support it. So, then we got to deal with going to rebidding this. That's what we have to do. We can do an expedited process.
That's fine.
Call a meeting.
That's fine, and I understand that, Mr. Booker, right?
Right.
Mr. Booker, okay. And since you haven't seen the documents, I'll just tell you what's in it. You have $690,000 which the insurance company paid. The lowest, out of the two bids, one of the bids came in at $1,078,000. One came in at $930,000. So of that, the housing authority was looking at being responsible for $233,000 of that money. Now, your bid went out in the newspaper and in every journal out there. Anybody was open to bid. If any minority business did I know about that?
I didn't know you
About the fire.
But listen, the county, and the city, everybody say that all the time about minority contract.
True,
But we put it in the paper.
And I don't have an issue with that. And there's you have section 3.
That's not real outreach to minority business.
And I understand that.
Okay, so can we,
So-
I'm putting a motion on that we refer this until further notice.
Just one question, Mr. Booker, how would you like us to notify so that the minority?
But we should maintain, locally, we should have a list of minority contractors, that we can go to.
When you say we, who's we?
The housing authority, the person in maintenance, this guy right here, he's been here, live here, he should have a list of minority contractors.
RFQs return you a vendor list. You can obtain that vendor list, and there's a lot of rules about how you can do it, but you can put set asides into contracts, and this.
You have to build it.
Yeah, you have to build it.
Yeah, through relationships, and if you've been living here, there's no excuse for it.
Madam Chairman, the board should also know that, from my experience, that the reason we're here is because our property has been under appraised. I think we need to really start looking for another insurance agency. I'm not sure.
I would totally disagree.
That's the reason that we're here, so we kind of need to be informed about, we all need to be informed about that.
I don't think we necessarily need to look for another insurance company. I think our
outside of the
Staff person.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that's what the problem is.
Yes.
Mr. Kent, what would a rebid cost us?
My agreement with the housing authority only do one bid.
Right.
Because I brought the job within the amount of money that was stipulated in my contract. So, thus you pay me. Now, I don't know how much that would be. I could say something like $4,000 or $5,000 to rebuild the job. My fees as of 21 and fees now are different. And then also another thing that happened is if we go through the same process as we did before and try our best to notify local contractors who did the job, which we did have, I misquoted, we did have one local Blaine County bidder. Last time. We actually had 7 contractors involved in this job. But only 2 of them elected to bid, and that's pretty common. It's very common. So, to say that we would get a better price could be, could not. But I would say no. All the values have gone since then. So, electrical devices have become unavailable since we took these bids. I'm doing a similar job in Waycross, I'm doing another similar job in Paxton, and these are probably running. So to say that we can get a better price could be that the chair, the board member over there saying that if we got the local people, more local people out there, could be we get a better price. But another thing to keep in mind, what impairs the local minority contractors is their ability to comply with the housing committee's required procurement policy when it comes to projects over a certain amount of money. And thus, in this case, I think it's $250,000 that was just changed the first year, wasn't it? $250,000. Now, anything over $250,000 has to have a performance payment.
Has to have what?
That is hard to attain.
I mean, that's a typical barrier for minority contractors that folk use all the time. And if that's a policy that we can certainly change to make it more equitable, then we certainly need to do that. But
I can't, sir. I can't, because that is, you operate under HUD guidelines, and I don't know if maybe you can.
Well, I can say this. I know that the federal government, across all agencies, are looking to make things more equitable for minority contractors, minority participation. I can assure you of that. And so we need to comply with that locally as well. And we're asking, you all are asking us to approve, and I finally got, I guess, a sense of the numbers from you. We're talking about over $200,000. This is not $10,000. That's a lot of money. And for us to, when you say you don't know if you're going to get a lesser cost, when people come from out of town, they charge you for driving from outside of the county, and if they have to spend the night in a hotel. So local people, theoretically, they wouldn't have to do that. Even if that's the cost, if we save $50,000, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't even looked at the job. I mean, I understand the 6 apartments. I have some vendors that we can count on. And I think we can do that. But, I mean, I can't support this the way it is. I don't have enough information. I don't think it's the best information for it. So, and again, Mr. Kent, I'm not faulting you. I'm pretty sure you've gone by what the contract was. But you know, we're in a situation where we got to relook at some things. So, if I could make the motion to defer this into a later date, I don't know, do we have to make a specific date? I want to defer this. I'll offer a motion to defer this to a later date.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Excuse me, who made the second? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Motion carries. All right. Next on the agenda is to approve the draft agency plan.
Yes, before I turn it over to Kim, I do want to let the board know that I will be offering my 30-day destination to be effective April the 8th. I do have some other resignation pending, so we can talk about that later. Kim?
Okay, before you've got your annual plan. The form did change this year so that it does look a little different. The first section of it just basically tells you that we are still considered a standard PHA with a substandard physical.
Hold on for a second.
Oh, the annual plan.
And it does show that we're still a standard with a substandard on the physical score. It lists how many units we have, how many vouchers we have. The next section on page 2, it just goes through what has changed. The only things that have majorly changed is, as far as our plan elements, is our home ownership program and the pet policy. The home ownership plan now carries the NACA as well as the FSS program. The pet policy was changed by HUD. The pet policy now states anybody that has a pet in their unit, anytime any housing person or outside contractor goes into the unit, you do have to, the apartment head of household has to be there restraining the pet. It can't be that it's just in a kennel or put in a separate room. It now needs to be physically restrained by the resident. The next part goes over on B.
Besides that.
Who decides? That's HUD. That's HUD. That's the new HUD mandate. Well, they have to restrain it. I wouldn't say hold it, but they have to have it on a leash. They have to be in control of it. I'm not sure why that is. It just needed to be contained, but they did change that this past year. Then you've got the new activities. I did mark that there's we've still got the possible project-based rental assistance program going on. The project-based vouchers with the handy homes. It also states, the other is the units approved for vacancies for modernization. I had that listed in there because we had at this point when I was making this asked for the units to be taken offline to get the modernization that we're doing put forth with the new floors and countertops and such. So that's what I have in there. Also, your other capital funds, which Ms. Dyer will go into. The progress report just shows that we have updated more VASH programs, the VASH vouchers, the foster youth programs in there. The most recent, the capital improvements, again, Ms. Dyer into that when we get to the financial part of this. The fiscal year audit, right now, it's still in progress. We haven't gotten the results yet. The Residents Advisory Board, we have met twice. In fact, the Resident Council was also represented. If you look in the packet further back, you will see their comments. Let's say that's actually, you'll see the date. We met on February 17th as well as the 27th. And then you'll have the minutes behind there as to what all was discussed. I will have to send this off for the state and local officials. I'll have to send it off to the mayor's office as well as DCA, as well as the civil rights. So far, we've got scheduled and in the paper, the actual public hearing has been listed in the paper. It is scheduled for the 29th of March. That was voted at the last meeting. That was the date that was approved.
You saying the public hearing on this information?
Yes. The public hearing will be done then. That's per normal procedure.
What time is the public hearing?
I think it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Who's going to attend that? It's 3 o'clock in the middle of the day.
Well, it'll be held during a time period, right after when the kids get off. It's the time it's always been held in the past.
That's not a good time for public hearing. We expect to get people that work to attend something. So we need to revisit that. Commission.
It will have to be re-advertised. Time-wise, will that be an issue, Sharon?
Well, it's
Not suggesting tell you the date, but the time.
April, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really change the date of the public hearing.
The date itself can't be changed because of the deadline to get it to HUD.
Right.
Time frame, I guess we could change.
6 o'clock. So folks can't say, if only 2 people show up, but they can't say, well, you held it at 3 o'clock, I'm working. You know? Or I'm in the process of getting the kids from school. And we do have a lot of our parents that work and people in the community.
Do you have a commission? Do you have a time?
6 o'clock.
We just changed it to 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's what time we pick them up for Boys and Girls Club.
Excuse me, can I please say something? Okay, the time consideration, I appreciate that and everything, but for a lot of the parents at 6 o'clock, that time is not gonna work because of the fact you have parents picking up their children from school, getting them ready, Boys and Girls Club and everything else too. So that time is not
What
going
do
to
you
work.
suggest?
I mean, the time that it is right now, you have more people coming out. That time is better than 6 o'clock.
So you're saying 3 o'clock will work for you all?
It works better because more parents are going to be available at 3 versus 6. Because at 6, you have to think about it. If they're getting ready to get their child ready for school the next day, they're not coming out at 6 o'clock. Because you have some people that attend that don't even live in town. You have actual staff members. You have people that work different jobs that actually come from out of town. So it makes no sense to have it at 6, even though it's considerate. It makes no sense because of the fact that they have to go back home and get their children ready. Didn't mean to interrupt you. That was just my opinion.
But the people who can state that, I'd like to respond to the statement. I work in the school system. If it's important to the family, they would get their kids up early enough. I think 4 to 6 would have been better. I used to be a parent. I used to get out between 7 and 3.
6:30, that's why the city and the county meetings are usually held at that time. So that folk are off and they have a chance to get there. But 3 o'clock in the middle, that's kind of an odd time in the middle of the day for me. And if people live out of town and work here, then I don't know if we can schedule for them. Most of the people, it's folk who live and work here. That's my suggestion. We probably just need to direct the staff.
I think that if we change the time to an evening time and just live stream it, and that'll give everybody a chance to participate even if they're not in person. So, yeah.
I do try to get a resolution to change the time, because I think it's part of what you notify HUD, right? Is that the ordinance adopted a time for the annual meeting. Yeah, a motion to change the time.
Motion to change the time of the public meeting.
What we say 6:30?
6 o'clock. 6. Yes.
I'm just seriously asking, because this is a meeting that the staff has to go to. So if you're changing it to 6:30, you're saying we're going to leave at 5 o'clock and come back for a 6:30 meeting? Or are you saying that we will be paying overtime for everybody to go through until this meeting's over?
No, I mean, if the meeting is at 6 o'clock, what time does housing authority close? 5, okay. And so the day is over with. And so you either attended in person or you attended by stream. But, and like you said, we're in the community and most meetings in the city and the county are at 5 or 6 o'clock. And so,
Let me ask, Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir.
So is the staff paid by the hour or by salary?
Both. Combination of both. The directors are pretty much going to be salary people,
and that's all we really need. The department head.
You probably need one or two.
I mean, folk are open to come, but
you probably need one or two hourly wage individuals there as well. But generally, my director.
So if they are paid overtime, is that going to bust the budget for that? I mean, to me, it's not just, we can't set these meetings. It has to be, the public is a big part of what we do here.
Yes, sir.
They're taxpayers, and they want to know what's going on.
Yes,
they're not able to make 3 o'clock meetings. That's just not. Otherwise, the city and the county and other entities have been doing this for years.
We have been, the ones that don't participate was at 3 o'clock and at 6 o'clock when it comes to our population. We have tried to reach out to the community to get them more involved, so I can't speak beyond the boundaries of our population.
Right.
You know, so that I lean on.
Well, I can speak to that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, folk are gonna come, but they're definitely not gonna come at a 3 o'clock.
Yes,
in the morning, like have our board meetings at 9 a.m.
That's not a good idea either.
So I'm put a motion on the table that we change the time to 6 o'clock for this public meeting.
I'll second.
Yes.
Motion to change the public hearing time from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. For the public meeting on the annual plan.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? If none,
Second motion, I'm sorry. Thank you.
any opposes? The motion carries. All right. The next thing on this approval is the Job Plus grant. I don't understand why this is on this agenda because we voted against it at but it was deferred and voted on at our last meeting. It's a $3.5 million grant, that, Mr. Baker had, got this grant, and they have to develop jobs. It's not like the jobs is there, they have to develop jobs, and, somebody would have to come in and staff it, develop the jobs for the residents, and reach out to them and train them. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday that it was reached out to WorkSource and Star Foundation to come in and be the people to do this, but the grant came for us to supply this. We have to go back to this.
So we have information, can we refer back to the agenda? That was not on the agenda.
The job, sir?
Yeah, no, it was on the agenda, but it was not deferred. Let's go back to the agenda so we can get the proof.
Yeah, right. I think that's where we at. Right?
Yeah.
The last.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got it.
I'm sorry, Ms. Allen.
If I remember from last meeting, we asked to get the positions filled, the positions approved so that we could extend the org chart. And to my understanding, there was talk back and forth, and I said, can we get it approved, the org chart approved, as long as we stick to the budget that was in the grant. If I remember right, Mr. Collins, you said as long as it could be stuck within that grant amount, that you would go ahead and approve it. That's what I remember is that it is within the grant.
It's been approved though?
The grant has been granted, yes. We have gotten the award of the grant.
That's a good thing.
We have the grant. We have approved the organizational chart, the salaries not to exceed the cap for the grant, and that was approved.
And that's already, that's worked into the grant. And so it's nothing additional that the housing authority will have to put up. That's already worked into the grant that's been awarded.
So what's the ask?
Right. This sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it is, but
And it's been awarded.
Yes.
That's a better thing.
It's been awarded.
So what is the ask today on the agenda?
There was no ask. I think, my name is Nicole Lewis. They kind of made me the program director over this particular funding opportunity. So I was just kind of here to go over the information I previously provided. If you want me to provide a quick recap, I can kind of tell you.
Yeah.
If you can pull up the NOFA, it's the last thing I sent you, but the Jobs Plus program, and I'll just read straight off the NOFA. And if I'm reading too fast, let me know, but it is up there on the screen. The Jobs Plus program develops locally based, job-driven approaches that increase earnings and advancement of employment outcomes through work readiness, employer linkages, job placement, educational advancement, technology skills, and financial literacy for residents of public housing. The place-based Jobs Plus program addresses poverty among public housing residents by incentivizing and enabling employment through earned income disregards for working residents in a set of services designed to support work, including employer linkages, job placement, counseling, educational advancement, and financial counseling. I'm just going to stop right there. So it's a $3 million grant, not $3.5 million grant, that has been awarded to the Housing Authority that, my understanding, was applied during this administration. I'm just
And so let me, if I'm clear, do we prepare them for work, or we actually find jobs? What is it?
So this is actually a very unique funding opportunity, and the way that it was kind of presented and awarded to HUD, it was more job linkages through the relationship that you already had. There's my understanding that with Star Island, there's already a relationship. Sea Island, I'm sorry. There's also a relationship, that's Miami, right? Star Island, sorry, not there yet. But Sea Island, there's a partnership, and then there's some other partnerships with the local career source here that were already established that they included in this funding opportunity, but the goal is to seek other relationships with other employers and other industry leaders here to help find other opportunities for the residents. completed with the residents about some of the opportunities that they're looking for. I've talked to several that are kind of here in the room today about what kind of opportunities they look for. This is a very unique grant with HUD in that you do have some creative control about how you create the program. It's designed to be a 4-year program. The goal, they have some very specific program goals. If you scroll down a little bit, you can read them. But I just wanted to kind of stop there. And if you want to go back to what my understanding was, we had the last board meeting, there was a question about the income. If you want to pull up the salary scenarios that I sent, Akeem.
So let me ask you this question. So we have if we get this, we have this grant, and it says job placement. So do we need people from STAR and WorkSource to come in and train the residents, or do they offer them jobs through the Job Plus program? How does that work? Because WorkSource pays residents to get trained in jobs. So how would they fit into Job Plus?
So the Job Plus program is really just to provide and facilitate the opportunity for the resident, whatever the resident chooses. If they want to go to Job Source, if they want to go to I keep calling it Star Island, but if they wanted to even, they have a business at home that they already do, if they need the technical assistance to help grow their business or scale up their business, it just allows them to earn more income without necessarily affecting what their rent will be for a period of time. To be clear, you already offer FSS, which is a similar program. The only difference is their set aside is a little bit different, and Jess can probably explain better than I can the difference. But what we would be providing is really training for staff, the caseworkers, kind of internally to say, this is the Jobs Plus program, this is the FSS program, you can't be in both. You kind of have to decide which track you're going to go on. This is just another offering similar to the FSS that they already have here.
So why is it that they'll be in both?
It's a HUD guideline. So, and I'd be happy. Yes, essentially it's kind of the same money, 2 funds. Now you can have participated in the FSS and then you can declare you're no longer with the FSS and do the Jobs Plus, or vice versa. Say I want to do Jobs Plus for a period of time and then I want to, but you have to clearly be in one program or the other.
It's the best I heard in this grant.
It's my understanding that we're just kind of in the foundational portion of this, and we need, HUD is mandating that we create, or we apply to create 6 or 8 jobs.
Yes,
And
they have
that's
some.
that's what we're talking about.
They have some guidance and some assistance. And this is what I have here. Out of the last meeting, it was kind of like when they submitted the budget. The first row is kind of the positions, which is just the base salaries. The next row is the same positions, but it's really what we were trying to calculate in terms of what the salaries were. So in the original proposed budget, they had calculated the benefits at 28 or 25%, depending on kind of where they fell in income. And what Jamie and I discovered when we were kind of going through the budget guidance with the HUD reps is that that's really not enough money. Kind of the Housing Authority really offers more like 47% just for employees, not considering employees who would cover their children. That's correct also. So we had to kind of figure out where that money was going to come from. That's what happened at the last meeting, and it kind of came out, well, we're great, whatever you have to do, but the Housing Authority is not paying any more money for these positions. You're going to have to make them work. Now, to your point, the HUD does have some guidance and some scenarios about how the program should work. These are kind of their recommended positions and what they have. We would be the 8th of 7 cohorts, and we have all the historical information and kind of the history of all the previous cohorts who've kind of gone through this. And the program was kind of modeled, from my understanding, similar to what other cohorts have been doing. I didn't write the grant, and I've been trying to kind of modify it and keep it within the same guidelines, but just the spirit of what the Housing Authority was trying to do without changing too much. So I did make some adjustments, and you'll even see here the organizational chart that I provided previously for that you guys voted on the last time doesn't include these kind of assistant case manager positions. I didn't change the number, but I kind of changed the role, because what I think is important is that you groom, or that's not the best choice of words, but you teach someone else kind of how to grow into a role. And my concern was with the pool of employees, of potential employees, which we haven't advertised yet, I wasn't sure what I was going to get in terms of the quality of the requirements that are actually required for these roles. So I tried to make another role that was kind of a step down, that would kind of be working with someone else to kind of grow over this 4-year period, depending on how long they be there, you know, and get some additional skills. And so even within the program, kind of do things the same, keep the spirit of the program, which is to kind of bring someone's income up a level by teaching them another skill.
So I have an organizational chart here, so it's 9 positions on this organizational chart.
Can you just flip it over so I can see what you got on the front? Is it the green one? Oh,
Yeah, the green one.
Okay, that's the one that I did. Yes,
Yes.
so yes, still 9 positions.
So are these 9 positions that we have to implement into housing authority, or are we going to use staff we already have?
So that's an excellent question. Yes and no. The only guidance that I have from HUD, and I can clarify this, we have a very good relationship with our grant administrator. Her name is Lee, and she'd be willing to talk to any of you on the call or have a call and just clarify any questions. And she's, you know, asked if you needed to be here, that's great. But as long as they're not working for FSS or being paid by FSS or possibly Section 8, I can get clarification, then yes, they could take on some of these roles in some of these positions. There have been examples of other housing authorities that have done that. Say, for example, you have a case manager in one of these communities that is going to take on some of this work and they're not doing any FSS work. They could take on these cases. There's 300 residents that are supposed to be met in the period of this grant. They could say that they're taking on a certain load, and as long as there isn't a conflict with HUD, they can certainly take on that load. I would have to get clarification on that.
And you, Nicole, right?
Yes, I am.
Nicole, so can we fill these with our residents? Is that what you were saying? Residents? I mean, we may have people who live in our
Absolutely. I mean, and there are residents that are qualified for any of these roles who could absolutely fill them in these roles. And they have other areas, Oakland, St. Louis, have other places where, you know, and that's why I wanted to kind of create some opportunities with maybe some levels that, not saying the residents aren't qualified, but to give them, if they're interested in case management, if they're interested in getting into affordable housing, or there may be an opportunity for us to give them that opportunity through this program to kind of learn more about that.
Could we, Madam Chair, could we possibly have maybe, I don't know, could we have work sessions?
We need to start having work sessions.
Because I think we need to sit down with probably Mr. Baker and Nicole and maybe some of the other staff, so that we all understand that we definitely need to keep this, I think, and I think it's something that's going to be beneficial for our residents, especially if it's already been awarded. Definitely don't want to sit in that.
This is the first time that it's been explained in this way and in depth. The other question is, with the $3 million grant, will the grant pay for these positions, the salary and hourly positions?
Yes, and so that's what this scenario was showing. So out of the last meeting, you guys asked me, like, to make it work. So what we did was, we tried to do a couple scenarios. I worked with Jamie to figure out what we would do. If we kept as many staff, we would be over. What we decided to do was make the program director, which is the role that I'm currently filling, and it's incorrect on the organization. I'm sorry, I'll fix that. And the program manager would be the 2 staff roles, and calculated at the 47-ish% of benefits. Everything else would be independent contractor, which we would have to advertise and kind of bid out. I think Jamie has the job requisition form for the program manager position that she can advertise whenever that's ready. But the other roles, we would have to go through the formal procurement process to advertise those positions and those roles. And we have the descriptions and kind of have the detail, but Ms. Dyer is just giving me the RFP form. To be honest, my role is the procurement specialist, and that's been one of the words today. That was the role that I was actually kind of brought into. So to answer your question, we do kind of cover multiple roles, and I am a staff that has a position that's also filling a role here. So yes, that is eligible and something that we do.
And the independent contractor would Job Plus cover that salary too, so HUD won't pay into any salary
roles
at all.
Yes, all those roles are included in the funding period of the program. That's it's the self-contained. It should not go over into HUD. We have weekly meetings, monthly meetings. Some of the internal processes won't be changed in terms of how independent contractors will be held with the check requests and those things, so.
We need a work session.
Yeah.
So we can maximize the
Yeah.
use of this.
Miss Kim, Mr. Baker, can the Board of Commissioners have a listing of the hourly and the salary paid staff? Also, I need a listing of all the partnerships that we have and the contracts that go along with it, so we can know how many partnerships we already have currently,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We actually.
as soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am. Do you want it electronically?
You can do it electronically, but I know in the next meeting, I like to rank on this.
Yes,
so I
ma'am.
can
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
The annual plan, the one section, the one page shows a basic listing of the partnerships.
Okay, but I want to see. Okay, but
Any that we currently have.
I want the.
What page is that on? It's in here.
What page?
You say the listing of the partnerships are in here?
Yes.
Okay.
If you go under the part that,
But there are partnerships that we have that did not come before the board. I need to see, the board needs to see those contracts, and that's why I want to list them of all of them.
Yeah, you should have that by the end of the day, by sometime tomorrow. Then also, I did want to give you the job plus, but the grant was written in such a way that current employees that work on this grant, their income will be subsidized for that period of time. And so it would actually help our public housing budget. So,
I guess and I'm, of course, my first day on the job.
Let's go to work.
My concern is overloading the staff.
Yes.
Yes.
And asking for, to do additional stuff.
Yes.
And I don't know, I mean, they may not be compensated fairly right now for what they do.
Yes, sir.
And so for us to make a decision to add something, even though money is coming from somewhere else, it's to get a real understanding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, this grant does let us go out and do independent contracts outside of that.
Yeah.
But let's go to work.
Okay.
I think that's it. It's a good situation for us to be in.
One last thing that I want to pull up, and it's the 6-month budget. So this was,
The startup or the current one?
a startup, 6-month startup budget. So what, this is what we're requesting for it's $306,673 is the 6-month proposed startup budget, is what we're asking for. I don't know if your approval is from HUD for the job plus. So they do 6 months. The annual budget is due to them by April the 1st, but this is the amount that they will put in our coffers, for lack of a better term, to go ahead and get the program started. And similar to how Ms. Dyer has kind of a separate FSS account or line item, there would be several jobs plus. There'll be one with a set aside when that happens and whatever benefits that they get from those services.
So, Madam Chair, is this, so this amount, is this coming, this is our request to them? Right?
Yes, this is our request to the HUD. It's already been approved by HUD. They looked it over and given our guidance. Mr. Baker has to sign it and send it over. But when I met with our grant administrator, we went through the budget guidance. This was the original ask of the 6-month proposed budget that was submitted. So I didn't change very much. We just made some adjustments based on the categories. So now all the case management under the can't see that far. Under the 1428 case management is where all the independent contractor salaries need to go based on their budget guidance. But she just helped me make the adjustments in their form about how those categories need to go. So if you're okay with it, he's seen it already. We need to sign off. At the bottom, it gives a little bit more detail about how those numbers would go.
I mean, we certainly, you all may be clear on this completely, but I really think this is a good thing. But I don't know, I think we need to probably talk about it so we maximize the benefits for the family.
If I could just interject for just a moment. Like Nicole was saying, just listening to it and thinking maybe this might help a little bit. So they give you a really great timeline to work. This is the phase that you should have this done by and so forth to kind of keep you on track, yes. So this is kind of to really let you guys know they give you so much money in that, in the personnel portion of that grant to fund these positions. So I just don't want it to get the false impression that this would be a part of our physical budget right now that would be going to fund these things. It's just keeping you in the loop that, hey, this is this portion right here that's going to go to this, so you can watch that build upon and you can see exactly how that flow is going for those administrative expenses in that grant.
This is money that actually comes out of the grant and it goes into basically our drawdown system. So I mean, it's just you get so much per, this is what it covers, Mr. Baker signs off on it, and the executive accepted, move forward.
All right. Yeah, I see a timeline here, so if we need to get together, we can do that virtually and go over these things. The first one is due by April the 3rd.
So what is the staff meeting from us today?
This was really more an informative session.
Oh, so you don't
We
need
really
to-
hadn't had a chance to talk. I think you guys had already given me what I needed. I was just kind of reporting back.
Just to keep you in the loop.
Well, I would suggest, Chairman Bear, I would suggest that the board get together and coordinate a working session, more information session, with Ms. Lewis, and then from that point, let us know what direction the board really wants to go. Because there are a lot of opportunities out here for our residents, and we just need direction on
Right,
some of
they allow
this.
so much. This is one of those opportunities where there is so much flexibility. So.
All the Bronx News got that. This is
I hope so too.
Well, you don't like that. Quote me on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, moving.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving along. We're going to now to.
Okay.
We're going now to the write-off tenant account receivable. One of the questions, before I look at this, I'm trying to find it, has all of the charges, late fees and all of that, have they been adjusted yet off of these write-offs?
To the best of write-off, yes.
Could you explain what this is?
Well, this, write-off pretty much, these are just uncollectible charges that we cannot get from our residents when they move out, and so we have to write them off our books and send them to collection. I would say yes. And the first opportunity I had to say was when I looked at what we had from our collections, we would do well to bring our collections in-house.
Say, can you speak louder?
I say we would do well if we brought our collection in-house. We're paying more to send out, to get out, to collect our money than we receive it back. But Ms. Tyra.
Well, the main reason, as I understand it, going back, that the reason we hire a collection agency to handle that is because we don't have the volume to report to the credit bureau. So the collection agencies, we use a collection agency to collect our bad debts so that they can report to the credit bureau on our behalf. That's my reason. So, and
if I could, any of these uncollectibles, are these fees that we charge folks for having a piece of paper in front of their apartment or to change a light bulb?
No. So that's we would address that.
Some of the maintenance fees in the past, I've always asked what they stood for, and we haven't charged this. And so what I want to do is make it more transparent of what the residents are being charged, because sometimes the maintenance fees are more than the actual rent that they have to pay. And if this write-off, that means they're already gone, and this goes on their credit, and they can't possibly get enough
I've been at public meetings with tenants.
Yes, sir.
And that's where I found out about this piece of paper is in front of somebody's apartment. They don't even know it. But the staff comes by and charges them. Or if there's a light bulb that needs to be changed. And they're charged for it. Now,
We have addressed that, and that has been removed. However, I would say this, that our maintenance man is spending about half the day each day going through our property, picking up paper, and it's really hurting us, hindering us from going inside the ministry to repair. We're losing a lot of time and money in this process. And I do agree with you on that, but some of this is intentional, and we cannot continue to have.
so the paper, I hear you, Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir.
And I don't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead.
But if the paper blows from a neighboring yard, and then we're deciding to charge our families, that's unfair.
No, I agree with that. I'm gonna have that. Yes, sir.
And if the maintenance part of their job is to pick up paper, then that's their job. And if we don't have enough guys
One at a
to
time.
do the maintenance and pick up the paper, then that's an employment problem. That's a HR problem.
You don't have that debate, but my debate is the issue is that we spend 4 hours a day. Every morning we come in, there's trash on all our properties and things like that. The issue that I have, Commissioner Booker, and I think you agree with this, your mom and my mom, regardless, we had a responsibility. Not people blowing my yard at home. I get that. But we still got to bring equality of life, equality of standard for our residents. I get what you're saying, but they're no longer in charge.
No, I know what you're saying. I do agree with that. But we have to understand what the history is. I think with these commissioners
I got you.
that have been appointed over the last few years, they're trying to change the culture here. That's why they were appointed, and hopefully I can add to that.
Yes, sir.
But you do that by what you all have been doing with trying to organize the tenant council.
Yes.
And the tenant councils take that lead. As the staff and the board, we can't take that personal responsibility.
Yes.
The tenant councils would do that.
Yes, sir.
And the young ladies I met with the other day, awesome. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I know they're going to be. You'll see a physical change there once they get going, and you give them, they get the tools that they need.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not worried about that. So we don't need to talk about they spend 4 hours on picking up paper. They got to pick up the paper right now. That's part of the pain for change. And so what we need to do is to make sure that maintenance, where these families live, if we improve the maintenance in these apartments, the paper will get picked up.
Listen, you don't have that argument out of me.
And in our last meeting, I addressed that issue right there and talked to the resident council, did I not? And let them even have a community competition of who's going to keep their community up to par. Because before we go to redevelopment, you got to take care of what you got now. Because if you don't take care of what we have now, they're not going to take care of it when we redevelop. So we can start that now. We already addressed it in our last meeting that maintenance will not be the only ones responsible, that the residents council and the residents get together and do it. But what I'm talking about on these write-offs is like on this last charge where it says maintenance charge for $175. I like to know what that charge is. We only see maintenance charge, but we don't know what the $175 is. That's what I want to transparency.
Okay. That's for a move out and a dirty stove. A move out and a dirty stove. A lot of residents are leaving our appliances and our unusable, and so our maintenance team has to go in not only clean them but repair them as well. So that's a lot of labor that we had to recoup. Yeah. So that's
So excuse me, do you know for sure that this maintenance charge for $170 is for move out and the dirty stove.
I got it right here.
Well, it's not here.
I got to know.
So let me say this, to Mr. Booker's point, we know that these units needs to be updated. So we don't care about how the property looks, the president's on. And how much time does it take to clean the stove? It shouldn't cost $175.
I don't know the condition of that
I mean,
stove.
but
I'll
what
get
was-
you the work order. If you want the work orders attached, which I think is what you're asking for, Chairman, we'll be more than happy to attach
I've
work
asked for
orders.
the work orders, but it's still in depth. I haven't looked at this yet, but all I asked for is the work order when they went in, when they returned, if the repair was done. And if not, why? That's the only part I need for the work order. But, yeah, and I suggested that too. Residents take pictures and everything to protect themselves. And while we're on maintenance, I've been told that maintenance does not knock. They just go into the apartments. Well, listen. That's your against the residents that I get calls from. But I want to make sure that the tenants get a notice prior to a maintenance coming into their apartment to do repairs. So they can, so if their dog is loose, they can put their dog up, they can restrain it. If somebody is home in their room sleep, then they will know that maintenance is coming. If you do that and sign it off and have the tenant signed off, then it won't be who said what and who did not. We need to be responsible for this. And like Mr. Booker said again, we're going to change the climate around here, get it organized, get people in places, and not have so many staff on multiple positions overbearing them. It needs to be smoothed out.
Mr. Evans, are you over me?
Yes.
Would you, I have my form that my guys fill out when they go into an apartment. When it comes back to me, the form it says, was somebody home? Did you leave a note if no one was home? And everybody knows that you are to now announce yourself at least twice before you enter into a unit. And I believe in the lease it says if you put in a maintenance request, maintenance will get to your unit, and once you do that request, they have authorization to enter the unit whether you're home or not. I mean, it's maintenance, but still.
Well, I think the spirit of that is what, I mean, because it's customer service. It's not just maintenance.
Yes, sir.
And so, I think you seem to carry yourself in such a way that you understand about it.
Yes, sir. I want to understand.
So make sure that the guys, and I know, let's face it, the guys who do maintenance, they're not going to be the best customer service, but the ones who work for you have to be. I have no idea. I'm just meeting you, just hearing about it. I've been hearing about, and I've experienced maintenance because I grew up in public housing. But customer service has to be at the forefront of that. We work on behalf of these folks. The staff, we all are here because of these families.
Yes, sir.
And so we have to serve them just like they are, who they are, our priority.
100%. I'm certain if you speak to just about any resident who has ever had an interaction with me, you will get that exact same sentiment.
But we want you guys to be the same way.
And understood. And
if they're not, then you need to get rid of them.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
But
because you are over the maintenance guy, so if we hear any complaints, we coming to you. But
that's fine.
And you need to meet with them and make sure and do, because this meeting here is so many follow-ups that we have to do in maintenance. Just like last month, we had 2 women that come before the board. Has their maintenance been repaired? And so I just want to keep account and let it run smooth. And like you said, it may not be you, and you can't always be with the other maintenance guys, but you got to make sure they're just as good as you are.
Well, here we go. Lead right back.
Well, Madam Chair, if I might add, for the board, our concern is not Mr. Evans, it's Mr. Baker.
Yes.
It's his concern with, unless there's somebody between you and Mr. Baker.
Well, let me say this.
Right.
Let me say this. When I came on staff, and the staff will tell you, one of my first concern was to address how we treat our residents. I think the residents will tell you that they're treated with more respect and honor and care than probably in the previous administration. We even went to so far as we not facing rate the way we are because our units are in such substandard that we refuse to move people in. And we actually have 6 units that are model units that we're actually trying to get funding from HUD and other resources so we can upgrade our units. Our Commissioner Chairman Bailey is correct. We need to invest our units. Our units are mold and new infested. Why it went so long, I don't know. That ain't my issue. This is the issue that we have before. My concern with maintenance and staff is that you will always treat every resident with respect and honor and treat them like you want to be treated. If it comes back to me that you did not, then you're going to have some issues. I will put my name and reputation on each one of these maintenance men. And they are the top, we got a solid core. They stayed when other people ran away. And they are committed to helping us reach our goals and actually exceeding our goals. We just got to the point we can have more people, and we're looking for people with like spirit that we have to achieve these goals, and we need just to bring our unit up to standard. Now we can't do that, to be honest with you. We're maintaining now, it's still substandard. We're gonna need a complete overhaul of our property. But as for what you're asking is, what my concern is, I came up in public housing too. So I understand their concern. But we got to respect our residents. A lot of residents are not turning in their work orders, and they're going to other sources, and when we go back and investigate, we don't know. But when it comes to our attention, we address it and we move immediately. We're still short-staffed, but they're doing the best that they can with the resources they have and the talent we have. So I appreciate that. I'm ready to go to work. Let's continue to go to work. Commissioner Dickerson, former board member, Commissioner Bailey, we ready to go to work. When I came here and Commissioner Bailey walked with me, we had painters that were spraying cobwebs.
All right. Okay.
And we changed that.
So on this maintenance, on the other one, here's a maintenance charge for $1,025. What is that for?
You probably can't read my writing. Let me see that. I just went and pulled the file on that. If you pull the file on that, what the charge is listed on that. That maintenance charge is a move-out charge. The charge was for 7 men to remove all the things that was left inside of the unit. It took those 7 men an hour and a half to remove everything from that unit. And I think the charge for labor on that is $30 per person per hour spent on that site removing debris from the unit with port processor, deputy, fudge. This is on move out to set up. So it's for that removal. There's dirty appliances, missing globes and broken doors. And this one, I ran out of room to write. This one had a lot.
So some of those appliances that you have on this write-off, were they old? Should they even have replaced? Were they hard to keep clean for the tenants? What was wrong with them? Because I don't want the tenants to be charged.
Electrical stoves, for the most part, can be repaired. You can clean the tops on it. They are all circuitry. It's all circuitry. It's parts. You can always replace it. It's simply parts. Now, can I say 100% that those did not need to be replaced? No, ma'am, because I have not seen the pictures from that unit. But there are pictures. Before anything is moved out of that unit and you can assess a charge, there has to be a picture of it. That picture is in the file for that unit, more than likely in the site office where the unit is located. If you need to see those pictures, they are there. Those pictures are there for reference. Yes, it was done. Yes, it's there. Back to the lease, and the lease, it mentions that when you move out, upon your move out, you are to leave the unit in the condition that you came into it with, as far as cleaning appliances and things of that nature. And I understand where your next idea about that, the stove could have needed to be replaced, and that's possible.
What's the cost? What's the move out cost?
And then it isn't a move out cost if you do everything, sign up.
There is no way to put in the elite system. What you're asking is this all falls under maintenance. When a person moves out, they do what they call a move-out inspection. It gets put into the system as a maintenance charge, and then in the system, it's listed out, everything up into, depending on how much is damaged, as much as the computer will hold, everything that the guys find wrong with the apartment that needs to be charged for. It has to be tenant damage. If it's normal wear and tear, it's not going to be charged. But anything that it is not normal wear and tear, that is tenant damage, gets tagged. It's all assigned to what is in the lease as the charge list. And we revised the charge list at least in the last 3 months as to the charge list was revised when the lease was revised. So, because a lot of the things, if we replace appliances, the appliances have changed in price since in the last year. You used to be able to get a refrigerator for $395. The same refrigerator, same model, everything is at least $700 now. The price just went up and down, up and down. So a lot of things on our charge list has changed to cost plus labor. Again, all of this was approved, all within the lease. Unfortunately here, whenever it just says maintenance charge, that's all the system will allow us to put in. The tenant gets a listing of everything that is the move-out charges. They get we take the pictures. It's got a long list of everything the guys check off. I mean, that is as thorough as you can get.
If I might ask a question, so if the refrigerator is not spotless, how will we charge the maintenance on that?
Not at all.
Right,
not at all. We don't expect a spotless refrigerator, but we don't expect a refrigerator back with spoiled food in it.
We don't expect it with maggots and flies in it.
You get that a lot, but no, a spotless refrigerator.
So,
and what
do we charge to clean the refrigerator?
What do we charge to clean the refrigerator?
I guess I'm saying, I hear what you're saying.
One is, I can't remember which is which. One of them's $60 and one of them's $30, I believe. I think the stove is actually the lesser of the two, or it may, I'm not 100%. One of them's 60, one of them's 30. It may be that the stove is 60 because it uses chemicals to clean it. I don't remember 100% right off the top of my head. But some of these appliances, when the maintenance guys go in and do setups, you would not believe what residents will go ahead and let their apartments get down to. Some of them abandon the units. Well, unfortunately, an abandoned unit, if they moved out today, we can't go in there tomorrow and get that apartment. It can sit there. We have to go through the court process. By the time we go through the court process, by the time we get the sheriff's agreement, it could be at least a month and a half, 45 days out, that appliance, and we've had it happen. One was recently that the lady had food out for Thanksgiving and just decided to leave. In the kitchen, in the refrigerator, the utilities have been off. The guys have to go in, and they have to go in and clean all of this. They have to remove all of this. It's not something that everybody can do. The conditions that some of these apartments are left in is sad. And the conditions that our apartments in to begin with, we've already set our substandard. And when you move residents in and they don't have a feeling of self-worth, they don't take care of things. And we understand that. We do. That's why we try and are opening up the door to go ahead and get the better relationship.
So let me ask you this. We have a self-sufficiency program here, right? how many residents go to that? Because just like, who was it said the program about teaching them how to keep house, do this, do that. If you're having,
My understanding is self-sufficiency, there's only 15 people on that program.
so
We've got to get them to
right,
interact.
so.
And that's all Section 8, that's not.
Yeah, that's not public housing.
So once again, we come down to marketing and advertising, because where is it where this residents know that this is going on? Because
We have our resident
Because-
workshops monthly, and it's all put on the website. All the information is given out to the
okay,
residents, but we can't walk someone to
but
them.
everybody is not on the website. You have
But
to.
we're also putting out, for the resident empowerment, we're putting those notices out every month.
Okay.
I mean, we're trying to get people into these programs.
We knock on doors.
We're doing,
We can't make it.
All right. So let's move along, because we need to. Yeah.
Because it's gonna take,
Yeah.
the issue is the relationship
Yes.
between
Yeah.
Yes.
the administration
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and even the reputation of the administration and the resident.
Yes.
And that's not good. That's been broken. Probably before any of the staff that's here was working here.
Yes, sir.
And if they were just doing what the same process, they didn't see any change.
Right.
And there's not really a relationship there. So we got to get to that.
Right.
So let's move on to get
Okay.
this. So
And so now we're at the, I'll make a motion. Any more discussion on this write-off tenants? If not, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the tenant write-off.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor? No opposed? Opposing? And if there's no opposes, the motion is approved. All right, now, we have a few people here for public speaking. I'll give you 3 minutes. Mr. Nye had his hand up first. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. I need to go back. The KPEC officer, I don't see the officer right here.
I'm not her. Officer Wright's on,
She's on light duty.
She's on light duty. She
Okay.
did include her report in the annual report.
Okay.
Not annual report, in
And your
the,
monthly report.
monthly report.
In the future, can you tell her that she doesn't have to do that comparison scale, because this works, what she has been giving us here?
So you don't want the charts
No,
comparison?
no.
I'll let her know.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Nye?
Excuse me, Ms. Denise Hayes, she's actually on the agenda for this.
Okay.
And
Okay. Next motion. Okay.
All right, good morning. My name is Maisha Holston, and I will actually be speaking on behalf of Ms. Denise Hayes, who has to go to work. She did ask to be bumped on the agenda so that she could go ahead of time to go to work, but it was denied. So therefore I'm in her place. So we as the residents are aware that decisions are being made without us, and we will not stand for this. And here is this.
Can you please tell me who denied it?
His baby, Shefflin's baby.
What did I deny?
She asked you, could she be bumped up on the agenda as it was done before at the previous board meeting for a young lady that had to go to work? And it wasn't done.
She didn't ask me this morning.
I don't know.
No, she didn't ask me this morning. If she wants to be done every month, then I'll ask her about that. But she didn't approach me this morning and ask if she come forward.
That's fine. I'm just
Okay,
going over
and
it.
I'm just telling you.
Okay, and I just responded. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. All right. Can I proceed now?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grand rising to you all. I will ask that my time not be restricted and I am not interrupted because I am the president of Brooklyn Homes Resident Council. And we have put in the work for the right to let our voice be heard. As a friendly board members of BHA. I would like to state for the record a few pressing concerns of the resident council. Number one, the BPHA has had 30 days to honor our request to make proper accommodations for our residents' council budget, as stated in my last statement, and it was sent to all board members and staff members it concerns via email. Within the next 30 days, we expect our list of comments and concerns to be addressed. Number two, as president, I have spoken to the current administration about these requests. For the record, some appointed commissioners and staff have taken our request into consideration, while others have tried to use scare tactics, sarcasm, harassment, intimidation, and threats to scare us away from the table. These tactics are clear right violations and will be presented to the BPHA HUD rep. Newsflash, we refuse to fold. We came into the knowing we would find a way to swim because we refuse to sink. As for my counsel, failure is not an option. Number three, 24 CFR Part 964 clearly states the PHA cannot deny residents the opportunity to organize. It also gives us the rights to information and direct participation into all phases of the budget process. We are fully aware the PHA must also provide and allocate funding for resident participation, no matter how bad the PHA's financial status. In short, it is our money and we need access to it now. Number four, at this time, I would like to enter the resident council powers into the records because from my experience, a lot of this administration is not versed on the statute of resident council and how they are to be engaged. The blind cannot lead the blind, so let's all educate and stop making excuses. For the record, we the Residents Council of Brooklyn Homes have not received a single cent to operate or maintain the status of our council from the BHA, nor have we received a stipend for our individual efforts as board members of a resident council. However, we continue to stand strong and united because we are fighting for a better quality of life for ourselves and the residents who voted us and that we serve. Number five, shame on any staff member or contractor that say they do not have time to speak with me about resident council business while on the clock, who gets paid because we live in the communities you service. We deserve to be treated with decency and respect, and we demand transparency from the BHA because we are entitled to it. BHA is our business, and we will conduct our business accordingly. If you don't know, now you know. And that is from Ms. Denise Hayes.
What's your name again?
My name is Maisha Olsen. Yes, sir.
Maisha?
Maisha. Yes, sir.
So well, let me ask you about the dress. Who did you get the dress?
I'm not Ms. Denise. I just.
Oh, she put it in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I read what she wanted me to.
Okay.
Are you privy to who threatened her?
Sir,
Are you aware of who threatened her?
Yes.
Are you aware when?
Yes.
Can you share?
Of course, absolutely. It came from Ms. Pamela Bailey. It happened on the day before the hearing.
What hearing are you referring to?
The hearing with the mayor, Mr. Kicks. It was said that if any of the residents were to go to protest or to go down to the hearing, that the resident council will be disbanded. It was also said that there's no need for you to go down there. You don't know what you're going down there for. You don't know what you're doing. That has nothing to do with you.
And I stand by that because we didn't know, the Board of Commissioners didn't know that there was a hearing downtown.
But what does that mean? You're right.
I got
Point of order.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I wouldn't say, Chairman Bell, that you stand by this ban the resident council.
I did not say that. I did not. Well, she's not here. She's not here.
She's not here, but the thing is, I also know that you did say that. Miss Bailey, I know that. And the thing is, and I'm gonna speak from myself, from experience, from Aisha,
Okay.
from dealing with Miss Bailey, right?
Yes.
Okay, because you know, my very first experience with a board meeting, what did Miss Bailey tell me to do? She told me to come down here and let them know exactly what's going on in my apartment. But rather you tell me or point me in the direction of who I needed to talk to about what was going on within my home. You told me to come in front of the board like you did the young lady. Wait a minute, like you did the young lady last week.
Okay. Go ahead.
Not last week, I'm sorry, last board meeting. Where rather than pointing her in the right direction so she could go and get whatever issue that she had rectified, you wanted them to show up here to make other people look bad. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go for it. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work. You also were the main person that said, and I quote, they can't tell you what to do once the residence council is established. We have to ask you, can we attend this and that? But how many times have you recanted that statement?
Say that again.
Also,
Say that again. Say that again.
okay, I said that you were the person who said that you cannot tell a resident that they can, I'm sorry, once the residence council is formed, you cannot tell them that you're coming or ask for information. It has to be offered to you. You were the main person saying that. You and Mr. Kitts were there together when you said this, when we were trying to start the resident council. As a matter of fact, when the residence council was ready, when it was more people from our communities ready to form one council, that's when the bombshell was dropped that we could not have one full resident council but an advisory board, and it has to be one council per community. That's when all of the people decided they no longer wanted to participate, because here we go going through a ring. So, with that being said, that's why you have people that do not, that's why you have residents that do not trust coming out to things like that. Because of the fact they've been drugged through all the rings and everything like that, and you're telling them one thing, then another thing happens. Yes, I'm upset, Miss Bailey. Yes, you disappointed me. I ain't gonna leave it lie.
Okay. Okay. So, are you finished? Let me say this.
I'll answer the question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was on the subcommittee for resident council. I gathered Ms. Hayes, LaShonda Huff, and you, and talked to you several times across Zoom and let you come together. At that time, we did not have a presidential director. We did not. And the other thing is this: when residents call me, or the city commissioners call me, because residents are going to the city commissioners called me and showed me pictures of instances of people's units, and they said that they put in the work order and the work wasn't done. That's when I told them to come before the board so they can be heard. And once again, earlier in this meeting, I said the two ladies that came before the board last month, that we were going to bring up if the follow-up was done. I just said that to Mr. Williams here. And so I did not do that to show any people up. I asked them to come before the board to tell their issues so we can see how long it's taken for the issue to be looked at, for it to get fixed, and why it's not going through the proper chain. The other thing is this. Now we're going to Mr. Kitts' meeting. I did not know about Mr. Kitts' meeting until I got a text message. I didn't know what it was about. And so when I called Ms. Hayes, I said to her, I don't know what that meeting is about. And I said, I don't think you need to go down there and protest. I had a first conversation with her. And I said to her, I don't think it's good for you to go down there and protest where you live. I did not say the resident council will be banned, but I did say it would not look good if you protest against the place where you live.
So you say
that's what I said, because I didn't know what the phone.
You just lied on yourself?
No, listen, I did not tell her that the resident council will be banned, because I didn't know. Because I want the resident council. We need the resident council, and your voice does need to be heard. Why would I try to bring it together? Because the old administration, we never had a resident council. The old administration didn't want one. Me and Mr. Kitts pulled for one. We got one. And then it was said that we discussed it, how we would have the resident council. And it said it would be good if we had each community to have their own resident council. Ms. Hayes said it was difficult to get the other residents and the other committees to, because I showed her let Brooklyn Homes be an example of a resident council and go out and recruit the other residents in the other communities to come together. And so,
Is it true being that the residents can't create one overall council?
I believe they can have a umbrella council.
Resident advisory council.
Right.
Of the different resident councils. So each one would have to have a resident council.
Then we feed into that.
feed into one big.
So do you understand that you all can't have the overall, right?
Okay, but Mr. Booker, I get what you're saying right now. But what I'm saying is what we were told initially, what we were told going forward, and everything. So that is why I'm on the board rather than on the council, because we were told that each individual community, and this has been repeated every single time we talk residents, every empowerment workshop and everything like that, that we need to get people together so each individual community can have a council. We were told we could not have that, a council, whereas all communities have that.
I think what Ben just said, correct me, Ben, is you have to have the individual ones, but the umbrella one is an advisory council.
That is the board, right? That's what you said.
There are two separate types of entities. There's a resident advisory board and resident councils, and so and those have different parameters.
Okay, so what's the difference?
It's probably a workshop. I mean, there's more authority can be given to a resident council. The board is more of an advisory. The councils can actually contract with the authority to take on some of the management and more active role in the management of the properties.
So my issue, so what is your understanding and what do you all want?
What we initially wanted to do was what we initially had. We actually had enough members from each community to form a council across the board. But we were told that once you see people, once people saying that other people were serious, that's when all of a sudden it has to go from per community. So it's just like we started getting more pushback once you see that more people were serious and getting it done.
So what the attorney is saying is that for you all to move for really more control of things, you have to have the individual councils, right? But operationally, you can't have the board, right?
The difference between the board and the council is the board is strictly as a advisory. They listen to what we say as the housing authority, as the board, the council board, as the board of commissioners speak. They listen to what we want to put in place and they put their input in it. The councils actually works as their own individual body. They are not, they can make up their own rules and all of that. They don't have to go and listen to what we say and go, okay, my advice is to do this. They are a separate entity. They go ahead and have their own guidelines that they have to follow. They have their own budget that they have to deal with. They have their own voting.
Individual council.
Yes. They're their own, basically, kind of like the board of
But the board is just an advisory board
to let us know what yes.
Right.
So do you understand that, yes, I understand you might have been told a couple things before, but to get to where I think you all want to be, number one, I certainly want to get to the budget, and why you all are not able to access a budget. So is that budget coming from the finance? Go ahead.
The operating subsidy that HUD provides for public housing every year, there is a calculation, it's a certain dollar amount per unit that is allocated for like resident councils or or tenant-related activities. Just so happens yesterday we got our calculation for our operating subsidy, and it's about $14,000. It doesn't mean that a housing authority can't use something larger than that, but that is what is in the calculation of what HUD is going to give you. You're going to get at least that much for
all the counties? Or
yes,
each,
yes.
each
Yes,
county?
that's the total for all 3 amps, for all 6 properties, yes.
Okay,
So why did they divide it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a
So,
lot.
but, well, I mean, it is actually,
What is
the number I just gave you is a total for all of the properties, but it is divided up into 3 pieces. We are divided up into 3, what HUD calls
My issue, do
amps.
you all have a
So it's
budget
5
that y'all have put
locations.
together?
I don't have it because I'm only on the board.
Okay.
You're not on the council.
I'm not on the counseling.
So you're not on the council because,
I'm not, because I don't live in Brooklyn Island.
oh, okay, I got you. Which one do you,
I live in
in
Added Andrews.
Albert Andrews?
Yes,
All right.
okay.
Yeah. Brooklyn number 5. So, yeah, we got to do something about, that's no money for these folks to operate.
Okay, but let me finish that.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I thought I heard somebody say the workshop word.
Yeah,
Somebody
well,
said
yeah,
the workshop
we
minutes, because
we
a
did a
few
work
years
session.
ago,
Yeah.
most, I think Ms. Bailey might be the only one here who was on the board at that time, when it became a topic here to talk about resident council and stuff. And there was a whole lot of paperwork and examples of resident council rules and regulations for different housing authorities in different parts of the country and this and that, and it was discussed over and over and over. I don't have the paperwork anymore, but there's a lot. There's, like you mentioned, the budget, but the budget has to be done by the council itself. And, you know, that's their budget that they create, you know, with knowing what the housing authority as a whole is going to provide, but, you know, how they're going to spend it is up to them, not us. A lot of it is, we're hands off. They're the resident council. We're not.
Do we have to approve
But-
that budget?
They can't be.
Yeah.
You got no say so.
So,
But we have to
yeah.
approve we have to approve.
If it goes beyond that.
Yeah, we would have to agree to fund it from, it would be part of our regular operating budget to go over and above what is already established in the HUD calculation. But I think that a refresher course for
Yes.
people who've heard it before, or
Do the residents get a stipend for attending meetings and things like that?
that is something they can vote on in their council for what they do with their, the way I
For their
understand
budget.
it. Yeah, it doesn't, it's not,
How
it
much
wouldn't
is
come
that?
from us. It would be something that the council.
Dollars annually or per month or per?
Now, that could be questioned, but I think it's per month.
When did they get their charter for the resident council?
Reggie, do they have
I
an
don't
MOU?
really.
Do they have an MOU?
This fiscal year, correct?
I just am asking Reggie because he's been looking into all the MOUs as to whether or not they actually have an MOU.
The council?
Yes, the council. And right now, the
They
council
just
does
start-
not
this
even
is
have
still
an
new.
MOU.
This is still new.
It's that, no.
What I'm gathering is that we've gotten the calculation that will be incorporated into the fiscal year 23-24 budget. Should be.
Yes.
It's not retroactive.
Well, unfortunately, we are on the June 30th fiscal year, but HUD calculates what you get in operating subsidy on a calendar year, of
Sure.
course.
Sure,
So,
of course.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that different year to year.
Right.
So,
So we haven't had funds or the ability to do the calculation or a budget from the
Or-
council
I mean,
to approve. So we
Right.
haven't had a position to fund it.
right.
So
But
going,
now we
Yeah.
are moving into that position now.
now going forward, I can say this. Okay, going forward, I can say this. Yes, it has been many instructions, many things going on for the past 8 months. We are in a place where we are going to have workshops, get together with each resident, see what's going on, see how we can move forward. Because in the last 8 months, like I've told some residents, management and council, we have been going through changes. And so we have not been attentive to the needs of the residents like we should have been. But we were going through changes. We've been going through management changes, we've been going through staff changes, and so right now we're trying to come out the storm and smooth some things out. So I didn't know where to direct them. I didn't know Mr. Jackson was hired. There are staff that I did not know.
Okay, so since you said that,
yes,
the residents did not know that Commissioner Booker was gonna be, you know what I mean? I have nothing against you, but being that you gave that example, I'm giving this example. We did not know that Commissioner Booker was coming on.
We didn't know neither.
We didn't know that. But see, I'm just giving you that example. The same way you just said that is what I'm saying. And the thing is, I have nothing against you, Ms. Bailey. I have nothing against you, but this is the thing. This is one thing that you honestly need to understand. And this is coming from a resident. Okay?
Yes.
And I talked to a lot of residents, and I asked them, what is the reason why you don't attend certain things, or why is there a reason why you don't come to meetings and everything? You want to know what one common denominator is with a lot of them? You.
Well, okay, that's fine though.
I mean, I'm telling you because you brought that up earlier.
Listen, let me tell you something. It's a divide. You're not gonna listen. I'm not here to be friends with the residents. I'm the champ. Listen, I don't know what you have heard and what you have told, but I'm the council. Wait a minute. I'm the commissioner that is the champion for residents. I want y'all units cleaned up. I want your grounds cleaned up. This is what I've been speaking since I've been on this board.
But it starts from within, Ms. Bailey. If you're giving out negative energy, and the thing is, I'm quite sure there are a lot of people that probably would not speak on.
Can we clear this up and have a meeting, a workshop? Because we can't continue
I just have this last statement and I'm done with it. The thing is, there are a lot of people, honestly, and I'm telling you this, there are a lot of people, honestly, that would love to have a conversation with you. But Ms. Bailey, the thing is, when you're going back and forth and you're sitting here and you're saying that you didn't say this, oh no, I said this, and then this day you change it to the next meeting and whatnot, then that also causes issues because then people cannot trust you.
Listen, Miss Maisha, listen, let me tell you something. I'm a person of my word, and if I ask staff for something, I have to wait for them to give it to me. I don't always get what I ask for. So this is why we're in the midst of what we're in to change the culture of housing authority. So, and the other thing is, I'm not on one-on-one with the residents all the time, but it's a divide. You're gonna have residents that like me, I'm gonna have residents that don't. They're not gonna like how I speak in the meetings, and so I can't do anything about that. But until they come to the meetings and understand where I stand with them, and this is all hearsay, then we can go forward.
It's not hearsay. You have to learn to talk to people and not at them. And you're so used to talking at people to whereas nobody wants to listen.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure that we're clear on what you all need from us. And as a board member, you are supposed to advise us. That's the role that you play. So even though you're not at the point of having a council yet at Albert Andrews, but I'm assuming you're gonna be the lead person in establishing that. Number one is from what you read from Ms. Hayes, you all need your money. But we need a budget from you all, a request. And I would suggest, don't you all worry about this amount. I think it's the regular amount came from HUD based on some
it's a calculation by HUD.
But I think we may have some additional funding possibilities. But just put together a budget based on what you all want to do.
I will let
Okay. I understand. Just speak on behalf of that, and I'm only speaking because I was asked and I was invited to a meeting that the resident council had. And I think this will bring a little clarity because I'm not here to say who's right, who's wrong. I'm just gonna state
participation form in the 2 pages that will bring insight on what's right for the residents to have. They brought me in to ask because I am an advocate for residents and for the community. And just to elaborate and piggyback off the first statements that she made, because that was my only concern as the people, as far as the scare tactics, the intimidation, and that they were being told that they could not participate or be present in the meeting. That is a clear violation of the CFR 964 section that Ms. Maisha presented to you all. And I will say that there is proof. So that's why I'm standing before you today, because I heard with my own ears. And they were told that verbatim exactly what she said today.
So there's a recording?
There is a recording, and that's why Miss Maisha, Miss Denise wanted to speak. And that's where the fear and everything is coming from. It's not the budget. It's not that those ladies are very intelligent. They're very knowledgeable of what's needed. They know their demands. It's just that they are being allotted a small little time and being in that position, which like yourself that you said, I was once, in public housing. But to know your rights and to be verbally intimidated and threatened, it will put a weight. And that was total violation. And when you just said that you made the call, that is in violation, because you can advise them, but not coming from a commissioner standpoint. That's just advice. That's just me giving advice. But there is a recording of you telling her that you will ban their.
I can't ban it.
We know that they are full aware, but there is a recording.
Okay.
And Miss Denise had that today. If to present, excuse me, I don't want to disrespect you, and I don't want to talk over you. I'm just here as the advocacy piece, because these ladies are in my program. And I didn't want to get involved, but when they text and invited me to the meeting, I had to stand firm and I had to go before that. So I said, because the board may not be aware of the violation in the codes, that's why the paper was presented, so that they'll be knowledgeable on that point. Okay, thank you.
Point of order, as a commissioner, I'm going to state in this meeting that moving forward, we will not intimidate, we will not interrogate, we will not threaten anyone moving forward, and especially our resident council. That need to be on record right now. We are not going to be doing that. Period.
Yes, certainly that is completely out of order. And
Sir?
You all need to go to the mayor. We are appointed by the mayor. And like you all said, you didn't know I was going to be, but I didn't either. He asked me to serve. But that's the linchpin of the authority for this commission. And the law is set up that way.
That's understandable.
So go to the commissioner. Go to the mayor with your concerns about any of us or anything that we're doing, and keep that relationship. I know this mayor would love to hear from you.
And that was the advice that I gave with the CFR codes that direct that was the advice. So I don't want nobody to feel like, I'm coming to get nobody, but in the operation that I stand in advocacy and them being a part of the PACE program, that is the leg and an arm for that. That was the first thing. And even I took the initiative that I'm going to schedule an appointment with the mayor so that he'll be aware. Not saying that he may not, but he'll be aware that there is code of conduct and ethics that he has to just to set for that.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll be super. So I've been tasked with making sure we are in compliance as far as Hakeem Washington. As far as obviously in light of the whole code report that came out, as well as certain things as far as people getting involved in the day-to-day, the checks and balances need to be actually followed. So it should be board members. I understand you're saying the concerns, but you should guide everyone to the executive directly instead of contacting them directly. As far as, and a lot of the stuff I'm hearing you guys talk about, it sounds a lot like attempting to get involved with the day-to-day operations with the housing authority. Even if it's not, Mr. Bailey, I've searched this stuff. I've looked it up. The bylaws are outdated.
Well, let me ask this, because the commission is supposed to be set up for the welfare of the tenants.
I agree.
Families inside.
Absolutely.
So we don't have we're not able to talk to them.
I'm not saying don't talk to them, but if it's something like, if you need to bring up someone's having a maintenance issue, there's no need to jump in front of a room of 30 people to point that out. Take it to the executive director and let him trickle it down to the appropriate staff members as well. Yes, ma'am.
But suppose it was trickled down. Now, the work order goes to where? The work order goes to the site. What's the protocol of the work order? How does it go through the system?
The resident calls into their site manager. The site manager puts it in. It's assigned to a maintenance staff, and the maintenance tech goes in and completes it. They take the pictures before and after. They input it into the system.
Now, most of the time, when I got calls in the past, I asked them, did they go through those changes? They said yes. I don't know if they did or not because I don't have proof. So, my intention is not to get into the day-to-day, but what I did was, for those who said they had particular issues and they were not being seen to, that's why I brought them here.
But it's not just the maintenance thing. It's not just the maintenance issue is what I'm speaking about. As far as you ask for a lot of information that is the day-to-day stuff, which you're not supposed to as a commissioner. You're not supposed to get involved in.
Well, so let me say this.
It's a courtesy.
Well, we do the policies and procedures.
Right.
So the policy and procedures is how things are going to function within the public housing authority.
The policies are in place, but you're going outside of the policies that you all established.
So are you saying we can't ask you all for any information?
That's not what I'm saying. We give all the information that you guys ask for as well. On top of, I know you're new, but a lot of the information you guys ask us for, we provide, and you don't look at it. Our maintenance director sent, I personally sent out those Mercer Fire documents 10 days ago. Commissioner Dickinson said he was the only one who looked at it himself. No one else said they looked at it. So my thing is this, you can ask for the information, but it puts extra work and it takes us away from doing our day-to-day job to give you information you're not even using.
Let me say this. If the commissioners ask for it and they don't look at it, that's not your concern.
I understand that. I understand, like a lot of the stuff that's going on, like you're hearing it, but it's not the complete truth. From your fellow commissioners, I understand it's your first day, but a lot of the stuff that has been going on, it's not the complete truth.
So it may be information that y'all gave us that requires more information to understand what's going on. And like I said, what we're in the middle of a change, Mr. Washington. And so we're trying to do better going forward.
Right, but
and so we cannot just and I know that.
But you're also going against the thing you say. Like the situation with the Mercer Fire rebuild, if you looked at the documents, I think it would have helped some of the questions. You say you had concerns, but the documents answered a lot of those concerns.
But let me say this. When we get the monthly report, it's on a Friday before our Wednesday meeting.
That wasn't the monthly report.
So say what?
That was sent separately.
And listen, sometimes the reports can't just be read because we have a license. We're not trying to ignore it, but we get a lot of paperwork. The monthly report comes in separately. Other information comes in separately. But we're like short 45 days into that Mercer report. How long was it on the table that we just now getting it for us to look at it? And like I said, there's a lot of things going on. We're going under a new administration, so it's going to be a lot of things that is not going to look right until we get it settled.
So why weren't some of these concerns raised with previous administrations?
That's not what we are.
Right.
And listen, if you want to bring up an issue about compliance, share that. But if you want to advocate for a administration versus another one. This
No,
is not the
that's
place for
not,
that.
that's not what I'm trying to do at all.
I understand what you're saying.
I don't think you do, Mr. Respectfully. I don't.
No, and the deal is, I don't think you understand your place.
My place is under Mr. Baker. You're not my supervisor at all.
Commissioner, time out. You all cannot come in here, commissioner, y'all cannot come in here and steady staff.
Wait a minute.
That ain't gonna happen.
Excuse me, hold on.
You cannot allow that.
Wait a minute, I'm the chair, listen. Listen here, there's a protocol. You got the Board of Commissioners.
You all are policy. Y'all are policy. Enough is enough.
Mr. Baker, let me say this. You have been here for 8 months.
Not doing a great job. Everything I inherit, 100% of this minute. When you were here,
Mr. Baker, listen. I have sent you emails. Mr. Baker, you have not answered.
One second. Hold on. Excuse me.
No. Don't worry about it. We gotta move on. Yeah. We need to move on.
Yeah, are you gonna let Mr. Lyon?
Mr. Lyon has something to say.
I was gonna speak, but I heard that this lady here was on the agenda, so I sat down.
Okay,
Yeah, so I sat down because they said they were on the agenda.
Who was on the agenda?
Oh, she went to the restroom.
Mr. Light, she was.
No, but we deferred that. We deferred that early on.
Yeah, because they're asking for funding. I said, I think she said she wanted to hold up.
Yeah.
You asking for funding?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
We deferred that, but I wasn't asking for funding, so I'm
But wait a minute. This morning, I clearly said those who are not asking for funding to stand up and speak. I didn't see your hand raised. We have to move along. It's going on 12 o'clock.
You have information, you don't look at it.
Mr. Davis, we have to
speak for myself. I heard my name, please.
No. We said.
I know, but I need to learn your process.
Listen.
Mr. Polite. Mr. Polite, we're trying to get through this agenda. So she's gonna let you speak. But let's go ahead with Mr. Lye, and then you're not asking for any funding. If you're asking for funding, she's deferred that.
And no funding.
And no one, I didn't, when I just want to say a statement. I asked me, it's going to.
I heard you and I want to respond, please. I will wait to your process. I just heard my name and I was trying to respond.
Because someone said that you were going to speak.
I want to speak for myself.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm
but
waiting.
your name didn't come from the chairperson.
I know, I just heard it outside.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
But it didn't come from her.
That's good.
Yeah.
But I just was responding, that's all.
Okay.
But my point is also just to address the application.
Okay, now, let's get back in order. Mr. Lye, you had your hand up.
If you could go ahead.
First, I am deeply troubled because I feel pain coming from this community. When Mr. Baker, William Baker, announced that he was going to be 30 days, the pain in my heart was sharp. The reason it was sharp is because the things that I heard here today, tremendous number of it was going to be and was being addressed by Mr. Baker and this new reform staff. I went to the meeting with the mayor and Mr. Gibbs. I think it was about 4 hours. I sat in that meeting for the entire period of time. And what had happened here at the Housing Authority had existed for a long time. It existed so long that we actually tried to correct it with the only place it can be corrected with, and that's with the residents. The residents is the very reason that all of us are here in the first place. When you get a position, that position should not be rump-rized, and I know y'all call him Trump, but it should not be put in that kind of condition where trust and the relationship with the people whom you are trusted to make sure that their relationship changes from poverty to progress. That relationship was being handled very seriously by Mr. Baker. So the pain that I have, the notion that Mr. Baker says that he's going to be leaving hurts. I had a prepared statement, but it hurts me because 1972, we attempted to have the residents formed into what we call residents associations in every one of these projects. It was the staff, it was the board, it was the scheme, it was the lies that prevented that from happening. Intimidation was coming from people, not just from the board, but from the political people outside of this board who looks at the money that you handle. And that is all that they're interested in. They're interested in taking the money from the residents and putting it in their pockets so that they can progress. My prepared statements changed because I do believe that if you take this moment that you had in here seriously, and one, have Mr. Baker please remain in this particular community until trust can be developed with the residents and the people that you are out here to serve, that I believe you will be headed in the right direction. Two, I can assure you that we have too much legalese employed into this operation. Nothing against a lawyer, but I can tell you this, that there were several things that happened here that every one of you should have known. It came from 4th Region HUD. 4th Region HUD walked in here after allowing the damage that has been created by the people outside of this particular community. They created one of the most hideous of all kinds of housing authority operations in this country. HUD walked in here and did a speculation lie. Now, I was told 20 minutes.
No, it's fine.
No, you can't lie now. I'm not gonna let you lie to me, because you said 20 minutes with me sitting over there, and what I'm gonna do is you talk to other people about their 5 job minutes. They stayed up there 10, 15, and 20 minutes. Go call the police to get me down if you want to, but I can assure you that I'm taking the 20 minutes that you told me, okay?
20 minutes. Jesus. We need to move on. We have an executive session to go to.
Okay, I don't care whether you got to go to a funeral. That's your business.
Mr. Lai, we have a meeting here, and we said 5 minutes. Can you please finish your statement, and we have to move along.
Okay, I've been up 2 minutes.
You got 3 more.
Okay. I don't know why you.
I've got my hand up on the discussion with staff time, and I'm assuming staff was going to be given 5 minutes. I'm gonna say one thing.
Okay.
And then, hold on, then I'm gonna let Mr. Mr. Lai,
This is out of order.
I'm going to let him have the rest of my
This is
time, if that's okay.
No, just let him finish.
Then I'll finish.
I mean, the chairman is in charge of this agenda. So, Mr. Lyons.
To have first information that one, the mayor of this city is in charge of this operation is not true. The mayor is only an appointing entity for this particular operation. And two, for the state to be interjected into a process by which the federal government, you saying you're HUD, housing, urban, and development. It ain't got nothing to do with the local operation if you run the proper way that things supposed to happen. What happened in this particular community is it turned into a thing against the citizens, and HUD came in from the 4th region, told a lie, put it all before the Brunswick News, had everybody here all wrapped up in lies, and instead of HUD coming in when it should have come in, that was years ago, it did not come in, and the point that you end up with now is HUD comes in from 4th region, from the 4th region, like they did from the 4th region of EPA, and let this particular community deteriorate to where it is now. It is time that the residents put themselves in a place to let you know we are not going to be divided anymore. We're going to listen to Relied from now on, and I guarantee you that this board and this trash will come to an end. Do I have any more minutes?
No. Thank you. Ms. Iden?
Okay, first off, I've been here since 2006. I was with the old administration. I've been with the new administration. The old administration's dealings with the tenants was, this is the rules, this is what we're going to do, and you don't have any say-so. Mr. Baker came in and he has changed that. He has given the residents a voice. He has opened up the ways for us, the staff, to work with the residents. He's opened up the doors so that the staff can work with outside agencies, Sea Island and others alike, that we can actually discuss things, get things going, moving forward to help our residents. What Ms. Bailey is calling a change that they're going through, what it is and has been before the old administration ever left, is a power struggle. It's this person that is running these different things in her own mind of what they want is the only objective they have. The residents have to go ahead. HUD Public Housing is not going to be here forever. It's not. We have to go ahead and work with our residents, get them the programs they need so that they can move on, get self-sufficient, and get to a point where they don't need housing anymore. Mr. Baker has gotten plans going and has been working towards that. Every board meeting that we have had since he's been here has been a constant fight over a power struggle. It needs to stop. We need to work for who it needs to be for, which is the residents. Point blank. The residents are what counts here. It doesn't matter who sits on the board, who's the chairman is, who the mayor wants to put in, who the mayor doesn't want to put in. The board only does one thing, and that's hire the executive director. That's it. He does not, they don't run staff. Unfortunately, you know, the board goes ahead and makes phone calls to partners that they shouldn't. They go ahead and tell staff things that they shouldn't. They go ahead and call residents about work orders, and, you know, they shouldn't be doing that. You know, all of these things have been going on, and they've got to stop. Residents shouldn't call me and tell me that there's a lady harassing them because they want her to come speak to the board again. That shouldn't be happening at all. The comment of the staff does not knock. If it's who I'm speaking of, the resident point blank told me when she and I discussed things, because yes, the staff does follow up on things. She told me that, yeah, she works nights, so she sleeps so hard at daytime, she couldn't tell you if somebody knocked or didn't. A resident goes ahead and calls you because something hasn't been done. Well, that's because you had people at the front desk going ahead and handing out your cards. That's not the proper procedures. The proper procedure is it goes to the AMP person, it goes to the maintenance clerk, it goes to the maintenance worker. The maintenance worker turns it back into the clerk. If the resident has another issue, they have to call it back into the site manager. Sometimes you can go ahead and go fix a leaky spigot, and it can be one handle, and you leave, and next thing you know, the other handle is stripped and it starts leaking again a week later. But how do we know that problem? If the resident doesn't call us and let us know, there's no way to tell. None of us as staff have little, the old-fashioned magic cube balls. We don't have that. We have no way to know what's going on in a tenant's apartment until they call us or until their neighbor does. There are many times a neighbor will have an issue going on that is a domestic issue. 9 times out of 10, that resident doesn't come to us and say, hey, I've got something going on. It comes from a neighbor. There's got to be trust between the residents and the staff. If the board members, mayor, whoever is interfering with that, then that just causes more confusion and the residents don't trust the staff. The residents have to be able to trust the staff. The staff has to be able to speak with the residents without all the confusion. Like I said, I was in the old board. I was with the new board. I will tell you, the first time I ever went to court, a board member showed up to represent the resident. And I looked at him and said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm here to represent the resident. I looked at him and I said, you're representing the resident on a rule that you made. And I told the judge that. And he said, yeah, it's a conflict of interest. You can't be on both sides. It does not work. We all are here for the residents. That's all I have to say.
All right. At this time, we are going to go to it. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, you need a motion.
Yeah, we need a motion to adjourn from regular meeting and go into executive session.
May I just have 2 minutes? I just want to take the time to thank the commission for giving this opportunity to serve this community. No matter where I'm at, I'm all about people and helping people, policing laws, the homeless, and those that are hurt. I would like to think that I am departing on a good note, and that you all will always have access to my resources. So it's not about me, it's about the residents. We don't do zero threshold. I went through a HUD, we going through environmental requirements, and I think that the board, along with the board of commissioners, along with this great staff, should be noted. And I like to put that on the book. I just think it's been an honor down here. I want everybody to know that I'm not leaving for any other reason. I got family members that I need to address. I don't need to be in and out. So I just want to thank you all for this opportunity to serve. And I'm here to serve. And thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Baker, how's your sister doing? She's still hanging out?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much.
I'm motioning because I don't understand why. That's an issue.
Okay, we are now going into executive session.
I would just like to ask a question.
We get ready to go into executive session. You don't have to say someone on the.
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposers?
Yes. This young lady got a question back here.
Yes, you go ahead and make a statement.
It was just a question. First, pain is the it's the way to progress. So what we've seen here is just a little bit, and I think progress is going to come from it. But my question was actually about us that are asking for funding. Are we going to be contacted, or should we contact you again? That was my question.
the staff will contact you after we get together, update the RFP, and then they'll mail them out to the organizations that they want to present, come and present before the board. Because all partnerships and organizations that want to do business with housing has to present to the board before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something, Ms. Kim.
We are back from executive session.
Yeah, so, I make a motion to terminate the consulting agreement with Vertical Horizon Enterprises LLC, effective immediately, and that termination being for cause.
Direct council to
And,
notice.
yes, and to direct council to provide notice of the same to the entity and its principal, Mr. Baker.
Second.
At this time, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes?
I'm going to abstain just on all the things. Just on all the things.
All right. We have 3 yay and one abstain.
I'll make a motion to terminate the Brooks Brothers Law Firm consultancy agreement, effective immediately, with written notice provided by our council to the Brooks Brothers.
So we have
Second.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposes? That motion carries.
I'll make a motion to terminate the consulting agreement with KBK Consulting LLC, effective, make a motion to terminate today, providing for the 30-day notice included in their consultancy agreement, so that termination would be effective, I believe, April 8th.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes?
Abstaining, I don't know. Due to not having all the things.
3 yeas and 1 abstain.
Mr. Harvey, who's Steve Beckman? Who brings in Steve? I'll make a motion to terminate Brinson, Askew, and Perry's representation or any engagement with Brunswick Housing Authority or its board members, effective immediately, and request a refund of any retained. And to have council provide that notice to Brinson, Askew.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? That motion carries.
That agreement, I don't know if you know, that's not with Mr. Duggan individually, that's with
The law firm.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's enough for me.
All right.
I'm sure there'll be more next time.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
But let me ask this. We do need to instruct the HR person to post for an intern. Yeah. So, do we need to make a motion behind that?
I think so.
Make a motion to,
Yeah, I'll motion that we instruct the HR director to post immediately for an intern, executive director for our agency.
all in favor? Say
Second.
second. I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? The motion carries.
I'm sorry, who's second? Oh, okay, thank you, sorry.
And
for the day. Thank you, board.
All right.
131.
Y'all don't provide lunch at